But fairest of all was the great white gem, which the dwarves had found beneath the roots of the mountain, the heart of the mountain, the Arkenstone of Thrain. The Arkenstone, the Arkenstone, murmured Thorin in the dark, half dreaming with his chin upon his knees. It was like a globe with 1,000 facets. It shone like silver in the firelight, like water in the sun, like snow under the stars, like rain upon the moon. But the enchanted desire of the home had fallen from him. All through their talk, he was only half listening to them. He sat nearest to the door, with one ear cocked for any beginnings of a sound without. His other was alert for echoes beyond the murmurs of the dwarves, or any whisper of a movement from far below. Darkness grew deeper, and he grew ever more uneasy. Shut the door, he begged them. I fear that dragon in my marrow. I like the silence far less than the uproar of last night. Shut the door before it's too late. Something in his voice gave the dwarves an uncomfortable feeling. Slowly Thorin shook off his dreams, and getting up, kicked away the stone that grids the door. Then they thrust upon it, and it closed with a snap and a clang. No trace of a keyhole was there left on the inside. They were shut in the mountain. And not a moment too soon. They had hardly gone any distance down the tunnel when a blow smote the side of the mountain like the crash of battering rams made of forest oaks and swung by giants. The rock boomed, the walls cracked, and stones fell from the roof on their heads. What would have happened if the door had still been open, I don't like to think. They fled further down the tunnel, glad to be still alive, while behind them, outside, they heard the roar and rumble of Smoke's fury. He was breaking rocks to pieces, smashing door and cliff with the lashings of his huge tail. Till there was a lofty camping ground, the scorched grass, a thrusher's stone, the snail-covered walls, the narrow ledge, and all disappeared in a jumble of smithereens, and an avalanche of splintered stones fell into the cliff into the valley below. Smoke had left his lair in silent stealth, quietly soared into the air, and then floated empty and slow in the dark like a monstrous crow down the wind towards the west of the mountain, in the hopes of catching unawares something or somebody there,
Rich
and
neighborhood.
spying the outlet of the passage which the thief had used. This was the outburst of his wrath, when he could find nobody and see nothing, even where he guessed the outlet must actually be. After he had let off his rage in this way, he felt better, and he thought in his heart that he would not be troubled again from that direction. In the meanwhile, he had further vengeance to take.
Barrel rider,
He snorted.
your feet came from the waterside, and up the water you came without a doubt. I don't know
Wendy's,
your
Subway,
smell,
McDonald's.
but if you are not one of those men of
Corral,
the
did you
lake,
see that?
you had their help. They shall
Don't want
see.
an all-you-can-eat right now.
And remember, who is the real king under the mountain?
He rose in fire and went away south towards the
So
running
it's the next
river.
big place that'll have food.
Chapter 13. Not at home. In the meanwhile, the dwarves
I'm not
sat
hungry,
around
but if you want to eat
the
something,
dark
you should have
sides
stopped
of the
there,
mountain.
because that's where the main
Little
fast
they
foods
ate,
were right
and
here.
little they spoke. They could not
Why'd
come
you tell
to
me
the
that?
house
You
without
said I should.
scarcely dared to move, for the whisper of their voices echoed and rustled in the tunnel. They dozed, they woke still to darkness and to silence going on under the roof. At last, after days and days of waiting, as it seemed,
Someone.
when they were becoming choked and dazed for want of air, they could bear it no longer. They would almost have welcomed sounds, though, of the dragon's return. In the silence they feared some cunning devilry of his. They could not sit there forever. Thorin spoke.
just try the door, he said. I
About
must
Green
feel the
River?
wind on my face.
Told you they're right next to each other.
Oh, are they gonna have
Smashed
food?
by sparkled in the open and suffocated.
Yeah, we'll have food.
Should I just wait till
So
Green
several
River?
of the dwarves got
Sure.
up and walked back into where the door had been. But they found that the upper end of the tunnel had been shattered and blocked with broken rock. Neither key nor the magic it had once obeyed would ever open that door again.
We are trapped,
They groaned.
this is the end. We shall die here.
But somehow, just when the dwarves were most despairing, Bilbo felt the strange lightening of the heart, as if a heavy weight had gone from under his waistcoat. Come, come, he said. While there's life, there's hope, as my father used to say, and the third time pays for all. I'm going down the tunnel once again. I've been that way twice. He squeaked aloud. Stop playing hide and seek. Give me a light, and then eat me if you can catch me. Faint echoes ran round the unseen hall, but there was no answer. Bilbo got up and found that he did not know in what direction to turn. Now I wonder what on earth Smart is playing at, he said. He's not at home today. Or tonight, or whatever it is, I do believe. If Oin and Gloin have not lost their tinder boxes, perhaps we can make a little light and have a look round before the luck turns. Light? He cried. Could anybody make a light? The dwarves, of course, were very alarmed when Bilbo fell forward down the step with a bump into the hall, and they sat huddled just where he had left them at the end of the tunnel. Shh! Shh! They hissed when they heard his voice. And though that helped the hobbit to find out where they were, it was some time before he could get anything else out of them. But in the end, when Bilbo actually began to stamp on the floor and screamed out, "Light!" at the top of his shrill voice, Thorfinn gave way, and Oin and Gloin were sent back to their bundles at the top of the tunnel. After a while, a twinkling gleam showed them returning. Oin with a small pine torch alight in his hand, and Gloin with a bundle of others under his arm. Quickly Bilbo trotted to the door and took the torch, but he could not persuade the dwarves to light the others, or to come and join him yet. As Thorin carefully explained, Mr. Baggins was still officially their expert burglar and investigator. If he liked to risk a light, that was his affair. They would wait in the tunnel for his report. So they sat near the door and watched. They saw the little dark shape of the hobbit start across the floor, holding his tiny light aloft. Every now and again, while he was still near enough, they caught a glint and a tinkle as he stumbled on some golden thing. The light grew smaller as he wandered away into the vast hall. Then it began to rise, dancing into the air. Bilbo was climbing the great mound of treasure. Soon he stood upon the top and still went on. Then they saw him halt and stoop for a moment, but they did not know the reason. It was the Arkenstone, the heart of the mountain. So Bilbo guessed from Thorin's description. But indeed, there could not be two such gems, even in so marvelous a hoard, even in all the world. Ever as he climbed, the same white gleam had shone before him and drawn his feet towards it. Slowly it grew to a little globe of pallid light. Now, as he came near, it was tinged with a flickering sparkle of many colors at the surface, reflected and splintered from the wavering light of his torch. At last he looked down upon it, and he caught his breath. The great jewel shone before his feet of its own inner light, and yet, cut and fashioned by the dwarves, who had dug it from the heart of the mountain long ago, it took all light that fell upon it and changed it into 10,000 sparks of white radiance shot with links of the rainbow. Suddenly, Bilbo's arm went towards it, drawn by its enchantment.
I guess.
His small hand would not close about it,
I'll wait till we
For it
see
was a
some signs
large
and see
and
where
heavy
they are.
but he lifted it, shut his eyes, and put it in his deepest pocket. Now I am a burglar indeed, thought he. But I suppose I must tell the dwarves about it sometime. They did say I could pick and choose my own share, and I think I'd choose this if they took all the rest. All the same, he had an uncomfortable feeling that the picking and choosing had not really been meant to include this marvelous gem, and that trouble would yet come of it. Now he went on again, down the other side of the great mound he climbed, and the spark of his torch vanished from the sight of the watching dwarves. But soon they saw it far away in the distance again. Bilbo was crossing the floor of the hall. He went on until he came to the great doors at the further side, and there a draught of air refreshed him, but it almost puffed out.
I guess I'm going to that taco place. Hopefully it won't kill me.
Montezuma's revenge.
Huh?
Montezuma's revenge.
We're not in Mexico.
Odds are everybody who works there is a descendant of Montezuma.
Mark! That's me. Stop. Let's see. Which way does it say? Which way? Right?
Right.
Pizza Hut.
Taco time. Green River. Rail yard.
Wow, there's McDonald's. See, tacos. Must be in the
There's a little park alongside it. There's Pizza Hut.
It's in here?
No, it's probably along the road. Taco time. It's up on the left. So you want to get over. Backyards.
Okay. Now what? Keep going this way?
Yeah.
Okay. Which way now?
That's the way you came
way?
from.
Okay.
Yes, that's where
Alright. Right at an intersection. Okay. Somebody's coming. processing a picture. You could be using my Iowa. You're in the right lane. Oh, this is cold. Let's turn right.
Yeah, that one's blurry too. Fucking motherfucker.
Turning.
Fucking truck right in the picture.
Cold. Buckaroo's Family Restaurant.
Wait a minute. Where are we supposed to go on the?
I follow the signs.
Oh, okay.
Pay attention if you're worried. I said I had to turn right for I-80. See? West West.
No, I think that was somewhere where the bridge we went under, because that was the freeway.
Mark. I followed what the sign said.
The Daily Need. Oh, that's where I forgot to go. There was a donut shop downtown Rollins when I was.
Oh,
I meant to.
museum.
It was closed.
It was probably closed.
Oh yeah, probably.
We're getting a tour of the.
Yeah, all these nice little homes with the huge chimney rock in the background is kind of neat.
School.
I wonder if the homes are outrageously priced here. Oh. Did we gas up? What? It's a little cheaper here.
Stop gas, hon.
It's a little cheaper here. Oh, a lot of these chimney rocks. Look at the way off to the right.
Driving, hon.
There's like a single one.
I see that one.
Oh yeah. You'll see it way off to the right here. There's like 3 of them. Now you can see them. In fact, I think I remember coming through here and remembering it was kind of pretty. It was really pretty. Processing, god damn it.
Yucky.
Processing. Well, I wouldn't mind having a camera like yours, but what I can't stand about yours, Tiff, is I love, you know, the super zoom you get with these kinds of cameras, you know what I mean? I can't stand that you're limited by your lenses like that, you know?
Mine has good zoom.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. It's got
Not compared to a digital zoom that really brings stuff in close. It doesn't even begin to compare.
I'm talking about my Panasonic. It's got an optical zoom.
Oh, that one. But I'm talking about. I like to have an SLR, and with that you're limited by your lenses.
My digital zoom.
So I like a better camera, I suppose, like your.
My Panasonic would be perfect for you. It's got a nice optical zoom, and you can put it all in automatic if you have to. That's what you're taking with that one.
I guess maybe I should start using that. And all the nice rocks are gone.
Any more of this? Finish it up.
Found off from the wall and held them in the light, caressing and fingering them. Feely and Keely were almost in merry mood, and finding still hanging there many golden harps strung with silver, they took them and struck them, and being magical, and also untouched by the dragon, who had small interest in music, and put on this. With that, he put on Bilbo a small coat of mail, wrought for some young elf prince long ago. It was of silver steel, which the elves call mithril, and with it went a belt of pearls and crystals. A light helm of figured leather, strengthened beneath with hoops of steel, and studded about the brim with white gems, was set upon the hobbit's head. I feel magnificent, he thought. But I expect I look rather absurd. How they would laugh on the hill at home. Still, I wish there was a looking glass handy. All the same, Mr. Baggins kept his head more clear of the bewitchment of the hoard than the dwarves did. Long before the dwarves were tired of examining the treasures, he became wary of it and sat down on the floor.
I think that's north of here.
And he began to wonder nervously what the end of it all would be. I'd give a good many of these precious goblets, he thought, for a drink of something cheering out of one of Bjorn's wooden bowls.
You smell that?
Thorin, he cried aloud. What next? We are
I was
armed.
thinking one of us
But
stepped
what
at poo
good
or
has
something.
any armor ever been
Might be
before
that.
against Smaug the dragon?
Yes, it could be.
This treasure is not yet won back. We are not looking for gold yet, but for a way of escape. And we've tempted luck too long. You speak the truth, answered Thorin, recovering his wits. Let us go. I will guide you. Not in 1,000 years should I forget the ways of this palace. Then he hailed the others, and they
Isolated houses in the middle of nowhere.
There is the birth of the running river, said Thorin. From here it hastens to the gate. Let us follow it.
out of a dark opening in a wall of rock. There issued a boiling water.
The hall of feasting and of council. Not far off now is the front gate.
They passed through the ruined chamber.
They
Tables
have
were
their
put in there.
supplies. You want to video it?
Yeah, as we drive
There
by.
is the birth of the running river, said Thorin. From here it hastens to the gate. Let us follow it.
Out of a dark opening in a wall of rock, there issued a boiling water, and it flowed swirling in a narrow channel, carved and made straight and deep by the cunning of ancient hands. Beside it ran a stone paved road,
They planted a bunch of trees
wide
around
enough
it.
for many men abreast. Swiftly along this they ran, and round a wide sweeping turn. And behold, before them stood the broad light of day. In front there rose a tall arch, still showing the fragments of old carven work within, worn and splintered and blackened though it was. A misty sun sent its pale light between the arms of the mountain, and beams of gold fell on the pavements at the threshold. Whirl of bats frightened from slumber by their smoking torches flapped over them. As they sprang forward, their feet slithered on stone rock smoked and slimed by the passing of the dragon. Now before them, the water fell noisily outward and foamed down towards the valley. They flung their pale torches to the ground and stood gazing out with dazzled eyes. They would come to the front gate and were looking out on the day. I never expected to be looking out of this door, and I never expected to be so pleased to see the sun again and to feel the wind.
That's all I
on
got
the
with
face.
blurry shots of
No, this wind is cold.
Oh, you were videoing, right?
It was. A bitter easterly breeze blew with the threat of oncoming winter. It swirled over and round the arms of the mountain into the valley, sighed among the rocks. After their long time in the stewing depths of the dragon-water caverns, they shivered in the sun. Suddenly, when we
I think
arrived,
the cops ever
he was
pulled
not
anybody
only
over.
tired, but also very hungry. It seems to be late morning, he said. And so I suppose it's more or less breakfast time.
How
There's
fast do you have to be
breakfast
going to
have,
get busted anyways?
But I don't feel that Smaug's front doorstep is the safest place for a meal. Do let's go somewhere where we can sit quiet for a bit. Quite right, said Barlin. And I think I know which way we should, since the dragon smashed the magic door. But Bilbo had quite lost count, and it might have been one night or a week of nights for all he could tell. Come, said Thorin laughing. His spirits had begun to rise again, and he rattled the precious stones in his pockets. Don't call my place a nasty hole. You wait till it's been cleaned and redecorated. That won't be till Smaug's dead, said Bilbo, to disturb the dwarves mightily. And they quickly decided that Bilbo and Balin were right. We must move away from here, said Thorin. I feel as if his eyes were on the... Come on, cried the others. Let us follow Balin's path. Under the rocky wall to the right there was no path, so on they trudged among the stones on the left side of the river, and the emptiness and desolation soon sobered even Thorin again. The bridge that Balin had spoken of they found long fallen, and most of its stones were now only boulders in the shallow, noisy stream. They forded the water without much difficulty, but there seemed small need for watching in the days of our prosperity, and the guards were made over comfortable, perhaps. Otherwise, we might have had longer warnings of the coming of the dragon, and things might be different. Still, here we can now lie hid and sheltered for a while, and can see much without being seen. Not much use if we've been seen coming here, said Thorin, who was always looking up towards the mountain's peak, as if he expected to see Smaug perched there like a bird on a steeple. We must take our chance of that, said Thorin. We can go no further today. Here, here, cried Bilbo, and flung himself on the ground. In the rock chamber, there would have been room for 100, and there was a small chamber further in, more removed from the cold outside. It was quite deserted. Not even wild animals seemed to have used it in all the days of Smaug's dominion. There they laid their burdens, and some threw themselves down at once and slept. But the others sat near the outer door and discussed their plans. In all their talk they came perpetually back to one thing. Where was Smaug? They looked west and there was nothing, and east and there was nothing, and in the south. Now if you wish, like the dwarves, to hear news of Smaug, you must go back again to the evening when he smashed the door and flew off in rage
Mountains off in the distance.
2 days before. The men of the lake town Esgaroth were mostly indoors, for the breeze was from the black east and chilled, but a few were walking on the quays and watching, as they were fond of doing, the stars shine out from the smooth patches of